Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. For this lesson, I'm going to talk on the topic site investigation. This is the outline of the topic. We will go in depth on the following subtopic. So the first is purpose of site investigation. Basically, we need to know what is site investigation. So who will involve in conducting site investigations, when the site investigation need to be conducted, and why SI or site investigation need to be done for a project. Then we will further discuss on the factors which need to be considered when undertaking the site investigation. So in general, I will talk on two factors, which the first one is economic factors and the second one is technical factors. So this is the course and program outcomes for this topic. Please read by your own. Alright, this is the lesson outcomes for this topic. Make sure at the end of the session, you are able to explain or discuss or describe why the client need to conduct the site investigation before they proceed with the construction works. And also, make sure you are able to address or identify what are the factors which governing the site investigation work. Alright, so now I will talk on what is site investigation is all about. Okay, normally the site investigation is conducted during pre-construction phase. A client needs to have clear pictures of the site condition before they proceed with the construction works. So the team which hired by the client, okay, need to observe or assess the site, which cover the geotechnical aspect, include the surface and subsurface, to address if there is any potential hazard at that particular site. So why we need to know the potential hazard during initial stage? Okay, this is because by knowing the hazard, we can eliminate the hazard, okay, before we proceed or continue the project to the next stage, which is construction. Okay, for example, if let's say during construction there is slope failure or landslide, so what is the impact to the construction works? So can you imagine what will happen? What is the consequences or implication if that scenario happen during the construction period? Okay, so of course the project will need to be stopped, okay, and many bad implications will arise. So to simplify what is site investigation, okay, you can say that site investigation is a study to examine the suitability of the site in the aspect of the environment, the physical properties, the geological and also the geotechnical materials properties, which include soil and also the rock. Okay, so all the information need to be collected, okay, for the purpose of designing the structure. So for example, design the foundation. Okay, this is important to ensure that the construction is economy. Okay, of course safety is very crucial, and to comply with standards imposed by the local authority. So overall, that is what is site investigation is all about. You also can do extra reading in order to know more about the site investigation. So, who is responsible to in charge the site investigation? In general, client will appoint a consultant or individual which is competent to conduct the works. The parties need to have vast experience in the field, and the most important thing is they need to be insured by a legal financial institution or registered insurance company to undertake this type of work. The consultant will design the site investigation depending on the client's requirement. So what is the type of information required by client? The level of details that the client is looking for, and they must put in their design, okay, not to pollute the underlying water bearing strata. Okay, so sustainability is very crucial even conducting the site investigation. Okay, so what is the objective of conducting site investigation? Or in other words, what is the purpose of site investigation? In previous slide, I've explained on what is site investigation is all about. So the client need to know the condition of the construction site. Okay, in terms of the properties of the soil, okay, in terms of the surrounding, the environment, okay, in terms of the geological and also geotechnical properties. So by collecting all the information, so the consultant will establish these engineering properties, which include the soil properties like I mentioned just now, okay, also the chemical composition or constituents of a soil. This is including if there is any contaminant, or for example, let's say previously there is illegal dumping activities on the construction site. I mean on the particular site. Okay. So it will pollute the soil. Okay. So just imagine if let's say we don't have the information, okay, and we proceed with the construction works. So what will happen? Okay, it is dangerous. This is considered as potential hazard which might create injuries or accidents towards the human or the workers, or else towards the flora and fauna. Okay, so if let's say we do the site investigation and we identify so the soil has been contaminated, okay, so we need to do soil improvement. We need to treat the soil to overcome the problems, right? So next one is the consultant also can establish the position and the quality of the groundwater level at that particular location. So by knowing the groundwater level, groundwater table, okay, it also help the consultant to design the structures, thus not disturb the ecology and also the environment, which specifically in our discussion relate with the groundwater. Alright, so next. So this is also the purpose of the site investigation. Prepare most economical layout for construction purposes, as I mentioned earlier. So the data are used in the design of structure, for example, the foundation, to ensure the construction are economy, safe, and also comply with the standard or limitation imposed by the local authority. During site investigation, there are measurement or tests need to be conducted. Okay, either in situ testing or the test need to be carried out at the laboratory. Okay, so we know that site investigation need to be conducted during the pre-construction phase. But to be specific, okay, SI is only carried out after the feasibility study is approved. Okay, and the parties or the individual that are responsible to in charge this site investigation is preferable geotechnical engineer. Now we move to method of site investigation. In general, the method can be grouped into two types, which are surface method and subsurface method. The need on which method to be adopted is depending on structures to be constructed. Okay, so site investigation can be divided into two, which the first one is preliminary method and the second one is detailed investigation method. So this method will establish different depth or complex or comprehensive of information for that particular project site. Okay, so for example, might be the site investigation for assessing the site. If let's say the site proposed to construct the large structures such as tunnels or highway or underground structure, might require more comprehensive and detailed information compared if the project is constructing a landed house, for example. So the depth of information might be different. In general, human activities during construction stage dealing with components such as soil, rock, water table, and it's prone to create geological hazards such as flooding, soil erosion, and slope failure. Okay, so by knowing and understand the geological component of a site, the construction activities can be carried out according to the adopted design and minimal any negative impacts to the environment. So this is important to achieve the sustainable development. So this is what I meant by impact from the site investigation if the site investigation is not conducted properly. It can be classified into two, which the first one is direct impact and the second one is indirect impact. So direct impact means that it happened on the spot. Okay. For example, by looking at these pictures, what can you see? Okay, the excavator is being used to excavate the soil. Okay, and there is a slope. So here is the slope. Here this is the slope. Let's say there is no safety prevention measurement is taken into consideration. The possible hazard might be occur is the stability of the soil. Okay, the slope can be failed. Okay, and might contribute to an accident or other aspect injuries. Okay, so that is direct impact. So for indirect impact, okay, it might happen after the work is being conducted. For example, after work, 2 days, 1 week, or later. Okay, for example, after the construction or the excavation work has been carried out. Okay, so during rainy season, okay, if there is no proper drainage, okay, the soil or the debris will flow into the drainage and clog the drain. So when draining, the water will overflow and create flash flood. So this is indirect impact. Okay, next. So the problem is slope stability or slope failure and also flash flood. So how we can overcome the problem? Okay, so the team need to do engineering assessment to formulate effective treatment for the consequences of the interfacing activities. So this is very crucial to solve the problem. So next is the limitation of site investigation. So we know that every site has their own nature and characteristic. It is unique. So the site investigation need to be designed according to the nature of the construction site. So geological conditions are complex and varies as well as subjected to changes with time. Okay, so there are many limitations might be occur in order to identify, to investigate the engineering properties of that particular area. Right? Sometimes, due to the limitation, the party in charge not possible to identify all the critical aspects of geological components. So what they can do? So they can incorporate conservative measures into the design and construction to avoid any unsatisfactory result. Other than that, the approach that can be adopted is by referring to related case study or past experience on similar geological environment to facilitate the site investigation work. So as a result, client need to allocate huge fund to conduct site investigation so that details and comprehensive investigation can be conducted on the given area. If you have any question related to this topic, you can ask me later. Thank you.